Yikes. All I can say is yikes. This week's Attack on Titan was a barn burner for sure. It's kind of the episode that we've been building towards all season. I think next week is truly the episode we've been building for, but I think this sets the tone for what will be a very, very interesting Attack on Titan episode on next week. For those who do not know, I am the Black Guru. What I offer is sage wisdom, and this is the Attack on Titan reaction and review stream. Hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe. You know all that stuff everybody tells you to do that nobody ever does. I mean, sometimes people do, but whatever. Because I'm about to break down this episode. We're going to go through it, a few of the key scenes. We're going to take a look at the key elements. And we're going to see what really took place on tonight. Because my mind is blown about the events of tonight's Attack on Titan. So one moment before we get started. Overall thoughts about this episode. Like I said, it's basically what we've been waiting to see so far as getting pieces of Zeke's plan has been revealed. There was a lot of mystery around what the bottles of wine were about. We got that on tonight. And the Gabby stuff for me. The Gabby stuff was really good. However, it was conflicting for me because I personally want to see Gabby get her ass whooped. I want her to get what's coming to her. And for some strange reason, they keep saving and preserving her life to the point where I'm starting to believe she's just simply plot protected. So, and we'll get into all that in a second. My God. Without further ado, let's talk about tonight's Attack on Titan. Now, we open up with Zeke and Levi having a conversation in which Zeke is basically breaking down the effects of what his serum has on his spinal fluid actually has. And he says that it freezes people up instantly and things of that nature. So but an interesting statement was made. The statement was actually made that, hey, I told you this already. I told you this when I got to the island. That'll come back to play later in the episode. So Zeke's basically kicking it with him. You know, Levi just, you know how he feels about Zeke. He fucking hates Zeke, but they kind of agreed that, you know, this shit is kind of taking too long and they don't have long before there's an attack that's planned. So they both kind of agreed on that fact. Then some scouts whisper into Levi's ear, kind of letting them know, hey, you know, things are going down in the capital, things are happening in the walls, and Zeke kind of has this look on his face like, hey, you know, things are going according to my plans. So then we get this Gabby shit on tonight, and y'all excuse me because I may get a little bit tense about talking about this shit throughout this review. But we get Gabby and we get Falco's ass going to have a big dinner, and they have Sasha's mother there and the girl that Sasha saves there, and apparently that's Sasha's mother, I believe. So, you know, they're about to have this great dinner prepared by Niccolo, if that's how you pronounce his name, because he wants to kind of honor the fact that he actually cared for Sasha. So he's preparing this big dinner for the family. And they brought all the goddamn kids. I don't know why they brought all the kids like that, but they did. So they got all the Rugrats there, and they're about to have a big dinner. Now, the thing about the girl who Sasha saved is she's actually trying to help Falco and Gabby's ass. She's actually trying to help them, saying, hey, the guy who cooks the food is also a Marleyan. Maybe you can go talk to him, and he can kind of get you back home, and he can kind of help you guys out. So she's actually working to help them at the time. So, an interesting thing that happens here is that Niccolo actually saves the scouts from drinking the wine, which we will later find out is full of the spinal fluid of Zeke. So it shows that, you know, for some reason, he wants to keep them from drinking it. So here's the crux of tonight's episode. Here's when shit really hits the fan. Gabby and them sneak downstairs to talk to to talk to Niccolo about, hey, we're Marleyans too. And, you know, we're military cadets and we're trying to, you know, get back home or see what's going on. And then he was like, wait a second, how did y'all get here? You know, and they were like, yeah, well, we hopped on board the ship when they were leaving Marley. And he was like, well, did y'all kill anybody? A girl, maybe? And Gabby's bitch ass is like, yeah, we did. I did. I shot her. And Niccolo was like, oh, you fucking bitch. Niccolo was like, you fucking bitch. And Gabby's so excited and you know, that she killed her, about killing her, and Niccolo was having none of it. So he grabbed some of that wine and attempted to smash Gabby's fucking brains out, which I would have loved to see. But Falco jumps in the way to save her, and he smashes Falco across the head with the wine bottle. Now, I believe this is what Falco deserves. This is why on last week and on my previous reactions and reviews, I've said I don't give a fuck about Falco. Because he keeps saving Gabby's ass inexplicably. And you know, I'm really having a problem with everybody saving Gabby inexplicably. Right? Now, Falco at this point should understand she's nothing but trouble at this point. She's nothing but trouble. Why don't you understand? He's a simp as far as I'm concerned, because look at him. So he gets his fucking head cracked. I think rightfully so. I believe Falco should get everything that's coming to him for associating himself with Gabby. So he's laying there bleeding out, completely unconscious. I mean, he's half dead. I mean, it looks like he's holding on for life. Niccolo brings his ass upstairs with the knife and says, hey, I'm about ready to kill. This is the girl who killed Sasha. And, you know, if you don't want to do it, talking to Sasha's father, hell, I will. So he extends the knife and says basically, if you don't want to kill her, I will. No problem. And then you know, he puts the knife to Falco's neck, and I wanted him to go ahead and slit his throat. You know, no problem to me. I wanted him to kill both, quite honestly. And then, you know, Gabby goes into this rant about, you let these devils take over you, fuck these devils. So she's about to die. Falco's about to get killed, and she's on the fuck the devil shit still. She's still on fuck these devils. Ladies and gentlemen, she deserves to die. Okay? She deserves to die, in my opinion. So we get this here, in which Sasha's dad, goes into this, I have a dream, Dr. Martin Luther King, we must keep the children out the forest 407 years ago, and all this bullshit. And come on, you guys, this is inexplicable at this point. I mean, the level of compassion that the people of the walls have for Gabby is inexplicable. It's inexplicable. You cannot explain why everybody's sparing her life. You can probably make a case for a couple of people, but there shouldn't be this level of complete and utter support for the idea of Gabby being left alive. So then Mikasa runs over. Oh, are you hurt? This bitch. I'm over this. What? Are you hurt? Oh, Gabby, are you okay? Why is Mikasa overly concerned about the well-being of Gabby? Just ask yourselves that. Why? Are you hurt? Mikasa! So here comes the only character I believe has any fucking sense about this. The girl that Sasha saved, she picks up the knife. She swings around that table so fast, and she was about to plant that knife right into the skull of fucking Gabby, where that knife belongs. And Mikasa stops her. Mikasa grabs her arm and stops her. What? What? And on a sidebar, you guys look at Mikasa's face here. The artwork is terrible once again. She doesn't even look like herself once again. I don't know what's going on, but some of the scenes are poorly drawn. This is another one. This is another time where we just get the depictions of the characters so fucking awful. This happens at least once or twice every episode, where we get these images of the characters just looking completely unlike themselves. The artwork this season was definitely below standards, definitely below average even for most animes in my opinion. This shit looks like Hanna-Barbera as far as, the quality of the graphics, so in the artwork. So it's just another complaint to me, but it's happening every week, so whatever. Last week it was Doc Pixis, and they had some depictions of him that looked incredibly insane. So some of the facial artwork and just some of the artwork in general is just not very good. And this is another scene. If you kind of zoom in on Mikasa's face, that face looks nothing like Mikasa. So then we cut to a scene with Levi, and he's kind of, reminiscing about, man, we did all this shit for Eren. All these people died for this dude, and for what? We did all of this shit to try to save this dude and come get this guy, and look what he's done to us. He's betrayed us. He's turned his back on us for these unforeseen reasons. So, I'm kind of with Commander Levi here. It kind of puts, the direction of the story's going. It kind of puts the first 3 seasons of Attack on Titan in a different light, because they go all this way to save Eren just for him to basically betray them. And, I can feel the frustration at this moment of Captain Levi, quite honestly. So here's what's interesting. Niccolo actually he finally breaks down Zeke's plan, telling everybody that the wine contains spinal fluid, saying that Yelena instructed him to serve the wine to the high-ranking officials. And this is when they kind of figure out, they said, wait a second, Zeke told us that when people drink his spinal fluid, they instantly become inactive and they instantly kind of freeze up, which apparently was a lie, right? So people have been drinking Zeke's spinal fluid and they don't really know that they've been doing that. So Zeke kind of played them with that story. That story wasn't true that he told as far as what happens when they drink his spinal fluid. This is a part of his plan. So, they've been thoroughly outclassed this entire time with Zeke and Yelena and the people from Marley who are in on this plan. They've been thoroughly outclassed. We also find out that Zeke has used his spinal fluid in the past to erect titans and take over capital cities in one night. So Marleyans understand that Zeke's spinal fluid is a tool that he uses to attack and create chaos. So we do know this for sure. Then we get the WTF moment for me. A couple of WTF moments. One, Gabby sitting there crying and she's saying, I've killed your comrade. I've bludgeoned people. Do you guys want to kill me? Why don't you guys just kill me? And they're all like, no, we won't. We won't kill you. No. And then Gabby was like, why did you save me? And Mikasa goes, because I don't have a reason. I said, this is poor. This is piss poor. I'm sorry, this is piss poor. Let's get down to brass tacks. For those who do not know, I am the Black Guru. What I offer is sage wisdom. This is piss poor as far as I'm concerned. I'm pretty sure the manga deals with this better. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I haven't read the manga, so I'm only familiar with the anime. And this is piss poor as far as I'm concerned. I saved you because I don't have a reason. This is what we call plot protection, ladies and gentlemen. Plot armor. Gabby is wearing so much fucking plot armor, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how much plot armor she's wearing right now. And I just can't. I can't. Because it's illogical. It was illogical not to throw her out the plane when she shot Sasha. It was illogical for her not to be killed by Niccolo or somebody in that room. It's also illogical for Armin and Mikasa to sit up here and say, we won't kill you. Why? Well, we don't have a reason why. Well, what? You do have a reason to kill her because she killed your comrade, but you telling me you don't have a reason not to kill her? Give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. It's really draining. It's really draining because the level of plot protection that she has is becoming so blatant that it's really sinking the nature of this particular storyline, in my opinion. So we move on to the other WTF moment. Eren Yeager walks in the room. There's a great line here before this where Armin looks at Gabby, and Gabby's sitting there talking about, kill me, and I killed your friend. And then Armin goes, kill this, kill that. You remind me of somebody else I know. And at that moment, Eren Yeager walks in. And when Eren Yeager walks in and he sees Mikasa and he sees Armin, I'm basically like, oh shit. Like, oh fucking shit. What is about to go down? We haven't seen these three really, talk with one another really all season. They kind of talked a little bit on the aircraft, but not very much. So then we get this stuff with Floch, and the deal with Floch is it's perplexing to me because I keep saying this, and I'll say it every week until they make it make sense. But Floch, we left Floch in season 3. He was a different character than he is now. He was not quite this character. He like in a lot of ways he was very, very different. He was a coward. He was very upset at Armin. He was very upset at Eren Yeager for allowing Captain Erwin to die. He said it should have been Captain Erwin who was alive. So his utter devotion to Eren Yeager and the Jaegerists and things of that nature, and him even being a part of this and a lead component, apparently a very lead component, is puzzling to me. Like, when did he become this character? Maybe we get some backstory as far as what happened with him. I would love that. It would explain so much with his character, but as of right now, I'm like, when did Floch become this person? I don't know. So, Commander Hanji was like, she told Floch about what's going on with the wine, and he's like, well, let those MPs drink wine. They're already idiots. They'll just be even bigger idiots. And she said, wait a second, I didn't say the MPs drunk the wine. And he gives this crazy look that apparently he knew all along. He knew what was going on all along. So he was always a player in the game. He was always a piece of the puzzle. So therefore, I need to see the backstory as far as what happened to Floch. Hopefully we get that on next week or soon. Because I need to know how he fell in line, so much so that he's a part of carrying out some of the high level elements of Zeke's plan. How did he get into that position? Then we finish with everybody at the round table. Somehow Gabby's present. I don't know why, but we'll find out next week. And we got Eren Yeager having to sit down with Mikasa, Armin, and Gabby is present. And then we take a look at all their hands on the table, and wait a second. Eren's hand is cut? So he's basically kind of holding them hostage right now, suggesting that, hey, I can turn into a Titan at any moment here. You're at the behest of my ability to transform right now. So, you guys sit down and listen. And what's interesting about that is, remember, Armin is the Colossal Titan as well. So We got a couple Titans across the table from one another, and the way this scene is set up is interesting because I believe there will be a bit of a debate between Armin and Eren. I think there will be a bit of a debate between Armin and Eren about the nature of what they're doing, the goals, the matters at hand. And you see where Mikasa's sitting. I think Mikasa's going to have to make a choice. I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks now, but especially after last week's episode, Mikasa is going to have to make a choice. Is she going to become a Jaegerist, or is she going to run with Armin? And the betrayal of Eren for me, to betray Armin, to betray Mikasa, potentially, to betray the scouts, to betray Captain Levi, I can't with this. I just cannot. Like, it really fucks with me, the fact that there's so much betrayal in Eren. And Eren may have his justifications if it proves to be that the rumbling is necessary to protect the citizens of Marley. Cool enough. But the fact that he's not understanding with his friends and he's running with Zeke and Flock and all of them. So I really need a lot of explanation on next week. Next week is going to be big on explanation, and I'm going to need that to really have me understand the players in the game. So we end with Eren Yeager saying, hey, I want to talk to you guys. I wanted to talk with you guys. So that's where we end. We end with that statement, and we'll pick up next week. We'll definitely pick up next week. So I think this week's episode was definitely a barn burner. I think next week's episode, honestly, for me, you guys, is going to determine how I truly think and feel about season 4 of Attack on Titan. Because I think a lot of plot is going to be uncovered. I think a lot of people's motivations are going to be solidified on next week. So we've done about 4 or 5 weeks without much action. This has been a very plot driven season. Not a lot of character development, but definitely a lot of plot. And we're going to see on next week, how all of this stuff lands, quite frankly. I believe we'll see all this on next week. So I think next week is the can't miss show. It's the one, the must watch show. And I'm excited about next week because I need some answers. I hate the fact that Eren has turned his back on everybody. Maybe he justifies that on next week. Maybe he gives some good reasoning on next week as to why. I want to see what Mikasa ends up doing. But what's really hurting me right now with this show, 1, the animation. I complain about that every week. But 2 is the plot armor that Gabby is wearing. And let's be clear about the plot armor, because other people are getting fucked up behind Gabby. I mean, let's just look at Falco alone. He's got his head cracked open with a wine bottle. So people are dealing with the ramifications of Gabby's decisions. It's just not her. It's just not her. So, with Mikasa saying, I don't know why, and things of that nature, I don't know why I helped you. I don't have a reason, and all this sort of stuff. It's just, just kind of poor to me. I would want more. I'm not big on the compassion, all this Dr. Martin Luther King shit, coming from the character surrounding Gabby. So those are my thoughts, my reaction, and my review of this week's Attack on Titan episode. Definitely a barn burner. Definitely set up for next week's episode. And I'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel, and we'll discuss what I believe will be a quintessential episode of season 4 of Attack on Titan. You guys go ahead and follow me right here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, share, click the notification button, all that stuff everybody tells you to do that you never do anyway. Go ahead and do that. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side. One love.